In this video, we're going to discuss how to lose body fat and get 10 to 20 pounds dropped off your frame in 90 days. I just want to start by saying, depending on how much body fat you have in your frame will depend on how much fat loss you actually lose to start. For example, if you're a 240 pound guy and you have a lot of fat to shift, then you will expect bigger drops week on week initially. If you're someone with less fat to lose, then do still expect fat loss to drop, but just not as intensely. But regardless, within the first few weeks, you will tend to find that they're going to be the biggest weeks you drop body fat, and that is down to losing water weight more than anything. Yes, some fat will occur, but it will mainly be down to water weight drops. So after these big drops, stop after a few weeks. Don't let that discourage you. It happened and it's completely normal. So let's get into how we actually lose this body fat. The results you get will all be dependent on your nutrition. So how quickly it happens is going to be dependent on how well you can commit to being dedicated to nutrition. So we need to get that on point first, which means we need to be in a consistent calorie deficit for that to happen. And it's probably something you've tried to stick to. You've tried to get yourself in a calorie deficit, but probably not something you've stuck to for long. And the reason for that is because it's not sustainable for your lifestyle or goals, and it's not realistic for you. So before anything, I need to make sure that when you're doing this, it becomes part of your routine where it is realistic for you, it is manageable, and you can stick to it. Sustainability and structure is going to be the thing that drives consistency, and consistency is the way you're going to lose body fat and keep progressing long term. So you want to be aiming for 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week to hit the target that we want to aim for in 90 days. So in order to do that, we need to know how many calories are needed per day for you to achieve that and be in that calorie deficit consistently. So first off, you're going to need to find out the calories are needed. Okay, so you're going to use a calorie calculator. It's the easiest and most efficient way to do this. I'm going to attach one below in the description of the video, or you could just go online and grab one as well, whatever works best for you. You're going to input the details that are asked, but it's key to make sure that you first thing in the morning fasted. That's going to be the most accurate weight for you. Then we're going to use MyFitnessPal to track what we're eating. So you're going to import the calories, protein, carbs that are provided from the calorie calculator. You're going to input it into MyFitnessPal, and you're going to start tracking your food from there. The great thing about this is you can have more variety with your foods because of this, and you can just start tracking. You can scan the barcodes, you can input the foods, but it's important to do this from Monday to Sunday, every single day consistently, and measuring the data. And because you're in a calorie deficit, you can actually measure what you're eating, so you know exactly what's happening day per day, rather than just guessing and hoping for the best. From there as well, you can start increasing expenditure. So your calorie deficit, it wants to be around 200 to 300 a day extra from food, and then expenditure would be the rest. So you're looking to try and hit 500 calorie deficit per day in order to hit this 10 to 20 pounds in 90 days. There's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. So obviously you need to measure that out based on days and weeks. It is just simple equations. So you need to make sure that you're doing this consistently to get this 1 to 2 pounds per week. So with that, once you've got your calorie calculator and you've worked out what calories you need to be in this calorie deficit of 500, you would then use MyFitnessPal to track your foods, put in the calories given, and make sure you are sticking to that Monday to Sunday. And you can use your own types of foods, just make sure you are hitting the protein and calories provided. And the good thing about this is that it gives you more variety as well, so you're not getting bored with your food. I would aim to try and go for 200 to 300 calories with MyFitnessPal on food, and then I'd look at around 200 to 300 calories from expenditure. So this could be walking, it could be doing some cardio. Just day-to-day tasks, but as long as you're increasing your expenditure, set yourself a step goal, for example, maybe 7,000 to 8,000, or doubling what you currently do now, and just make sure you're sticking to it consistently. Little things like that are going to help on the way to aiding that calorie deficit to make sure you actually are getting to where you want to go. And then what most importantly from there, you want to track weekly. Okay, so you want to be weighing yourself once a week, first thing in the morning fasted, and seeing have I lost some weight or not. If you haven't lost any weight, you're not in a calorie deficit, or you've not stuck to it in a way. So with that as well, make sure that you are looking at your own progress and the metrics as well. Visuals are important, but to initially start, it's going to be scales that's going to determine if we're actually pushing or not and getting to where you want to go. From there, it'll start to be more visuals as well, so I wouldn't always go off scales, but the start is going to be a good indicator that you are in a calorie deficit. So what I'd look at doing is seeing this as a 1 to 2 pound drop per week. And like I said at the beginning, initially you'll probably see 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 pounds maybe drop for the first week or two, and then it will start to decrease from there once your body starts getting used to obviously what we're doing, and then also as well the water weight has dropped off. Remember, weight loss does start to stall after a point. You will become a smaller human, so when you get to this level and you start seeing that the progress is slowing down, you will then start to decrease calories again slowly, so maybe by 200 to 300 again, and then maybe increase expenditure again as well. But the key point of this is to make sure that you are doing it slowly over time, because if you do it too quick straight away, all the variables are out the window then. So if you're doing too much cardio, if you're starving yourself and not eating much, it's going to be very hard then to actually lose more body fat from there. But if you start at a high amount of calories and a lower amount of expenditure, you can start increasing the expenditure and decreasing the calories better then over time. So it's going to make it a lot more sustainable and realistic. And that's why most people fail, is because it's not sustainable, because they try and jump 1,000 calories less per day for a week, and it doesn't work. And they try and do too much cardio, too much walking, stress themselves out far too much to start, and they can't stick to it after a period of time. That's why it's important to make sure it's just a routine that you can stick to. So let's say you do 20 minutes of cardio 3 times a week to start. You might then increase that to 25 minutes per week, per session. For the next week, maybe 30 minutes for the week after, and so forth, and build it up. Same with calories. You might start at, say, 2,500, and then the next week 2,250, and then 2,000. So week on week, it's just slowly reducing to a level. But there should be also a point in your dieting phase where you start hitting targets, and that is how you'll get to where you want to go with the 10 to 20 pounds. Like I said, 1 to 2 pounds a week. So in 5 weeks, you should have hit that target of 10 pounds. To hit 20 pounds, you're looking at around 16 to 20 weeks to do that sustainably. But that's the best way you're going to be able to do this, where you're not feeling hungry, you're not feeling tired and sluggish. It's going to make it more realistic and enjoyable for your goals. So key points to break down from this video: if you want to lose 10 to 20 pounds in 90 days, you need to be in a calorie deficit. It needs to be sustainable for your lifestyle. Calories, you need to know exactly what you're eating every single day, and I put myself in a 500 calorie deficit per day as well in order to hit this achievable 10 to 20 pounds. In order to do that, you need to work out your calories. So calorie calculator, figure out your calories, and then MyFitnessPal to track the foods that you're using. And then also you want to increase your expenditure, so double your step count, increase cardio slightly, just moving more in general. And then also you want to be making sure you are tracking these metrics weekly, every single week, whether you're making progress on the scales or not. It's just a good indicator for you. Scale weight can change based on multiple things, like how much carbs you had the night before, stress levels, sleep levels, what you trained in the gym the day before. Lots of things can change. Did you go and have alcohol at some point the night before? You dehydrated? Lots of things can impact that. So some weeks you will have points where you stall slightly, but as long as you're making consistent progress week on week and you're tracking what you're doing, you can actually see then where it's wrong or right and fix it from there. So if you can do all these things, you will hit 10 to 20 pounds in 90 days. And if you enjoyed this video and you got some value from it, then don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.